Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
All right, it's time for Coffee Ann here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us this morning, Friday morning, February 24th. This is Joe Callahan, and at the Coffee Ann table, we'll say good morning to Melissa Murray. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, everyone.
And Dave Richards is here as well. Good morning, Dave.
I am? Again?
Yes, you're right over there.
I thought you'd already had enough of me today.
Well, I have, but we'll stick around for another hour or so.
All righty.
Now, this portion of the Coffee Ann program is being sponsored by the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. Dave, what do you see in your email from the Chamber? Anything going on?
Well, before we get to the email, Joe, I do want to mention the telephone number, 334-1000. Very, very important that you keep that phone number firmly in mind. It's an easy one to remember, 334-1000. And, of course, in the email, we have the list. The list, and, of course, you can have your choice of the online version, the rest of that stuff. The 32nd annual celebration, they used to call it the Chamber Dinner, or the annual dinner, the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. It's now it's just the event, or the what is it? Annual celebration. That's what it is. Next Tuesday, February the 28th, and it starts at 4:45 in the afternoon, goes to about 7:30. So it's not a late night for you. And just contact them at 334-1000 if you'd like to go. You can connect with the who's who of the business community. They're having it right next door in Lincoln at Bally's Twin River. Big place for a big meeting of the Northern Rhode Island Chamber. Then the next day, although they'll be somewhat droopy-eyed after their meeting the night before, there will be the networking coffee hour at the Big Brothers and Sisters of Rhode Island headquarters. That's sponsored by Washington Trust and Providence Business News. It goes from 8 to 9 in the morning. Keep in mind that all Coffee Ann listeners have dispensation to go to chamber events. You'll just do the makeup online afterwards, just like Rotary. March 8th, which is coming up next month. It'll be the 8th day of the month, as a matter of fact, if my calculations are correct. Employer Incentives for Hiring is the title of an HR roundtable. HR being human resources, meaning hiring people and taking care of your staffs and stuff like that. Learn more about employer incentive programs available for hiring and training and recruiting and the implications of all of them. Now, that's an easy one to attend because it's on Zoom. Do it right from your desk, noon to 1, and that's coming up on March the 8th. And, of course, if you had, that's sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Rhode Island. If you had the whole thing in my inbox like me, you just click on the register button, and it's so easy. March 21st, cheers for 3 years, the WBC anniversary party. No jokes.
The World Boxing Council?
Is the Women's Business Council.
All right. So we'll have a boxing match taking place.
3rd year anniversary party for these young ladies at the Guild in Pawtucket. It's a 5 to 7 thing. It's sponsored by Bristol County Savings Bank, Centralville Bank, Health Source Rhode Island, Navigant, Neighborhood Health Plan of Rhode Island, and Verizon. And finally, we'll finish up March with Senate President Dominic Ruggiero on March the 30th, with the Kirkbrake Country Club being the setting for the monthly Eggs and Issues breakfast, March the 30th, with the Senate President, 8:15 to 9:30, same dispensation rules apply. And so there you have it. That's the list for the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce.
All right, Dave, thanks. And we just want to mention that Rich Elaine, who usually joins us on Fridays, will not be here today.
Joined us early this morning.
He was here earlier.
About 2 hours earlier.
Another,
oh, my goodness. Yes.
Another project he has to take care of today, so he won't be joining us today. But Rich will be here next week.
He has to be shuffling all off to Buffalo, or at least halfway there.
Oh, boy.
He's going in that
Where's
direction.
halfway?
He's going the wrong way.
Yeah. If he's shuffling off to Buffalo and he only goes halfway, where would that be, Melissa?
Halfway to
You
Buffalo?
were sleeping during the early part of the program, I can tell. All
I
right.
was. I admit
Albany.
it freely. Oh, okay.
Okay.
The capital of New York, by the way.
Yes, it is.
That's what their
Seat of
state house
government.
is. Now, Melissa, we want you to go on record here, so if you don't want to say anything, don't say anything.
All right.
But you've had a few days to think it all over, and just any final thoughts on David Cicilline resigning his job?
Well, I've always had a great relationship with with David, and he's just done such a wonderful job. He is the kind of person where you can just pick up the phone and call him. He's helped me immensely with his constituent services are amazing. As a matter of fact, he's helping me with a constituent right now. So very grateful for his service. It's not an easy job, and much luck to him at the Rhode Island Foundation. And, I think people were like, why would he leave that position to go to the Rhode Island Foundation? Well, it's really tiring. Fighting the good fight for so many years. He's been in a lot of different positions, from mayor to congressman. And I think the money probably was a factor too. So he's getting actually a big pay raise to go be the director of Rhode Island Foundation, and they do tons of good stuff. So, I know a lot of people have thrown their hat into the ring. I would say for me, it's not. I've been thinking about it. It's not off the table, but it's
Not off the table yet.
It's a big decision, really big
Sure is.
decision. So,
All right.
and I'm in the midst of a little chaos right now. I'm moving for the first time in 12 years. I have a lot of stuff.
Got a lot of animals. Got to round them up.
One cat, one dog. That's it. So it's a little hectic right now as we're going back into session, but it's not off the table for me.
Not ruled out yet. Okay.
Not ruled out,
Very
no.
good. Dave, any final thoughts you want to share about David Cicilline and the work you've done with Dave over the years? And will you run for Congress? Might as well ask you.
Well, I have to give up my livelihood to run for Congress.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're not going to do it.
Okay.
You will?
You kind of you deserve what comes next if I decide that I'm going to do it, Joe, because guess who's in the hot seat then? Well, I don't know, Joe. No, I really, I think I can do a lot more for people right where I am, and this is where I've wanted to be, and this is where I am, and this is where I'm happy, right here trying to serve Northern Rhode Island with this little radio frequency or two. And so, no, in seriousness, being out of town all the time, I did that when I worked for Dr. Ballard. It gets old real fast, and you miss things back home, and family things and that sort of thing like that. It's not the life for me.
And just any
I don't
thoughts
think
on your...
I don't think the fabulous Denise would like being a Washington wife either. That doesn't seem to. She's a Woonsocket girl.
Just any thoughts on your relationship with Dave Cicilline over the years?
Well, sure.
You've known him for a long time.
Well, when you have a friend and they're truly your friend, you want for them what they want for themselves. And so I'm not in judgment of it. I simply say, if that's what he wants, then God bless him. He should go get it. And I hope that he's happy with it. Dave's always treated us well. And as Melissa mentioned very clearly earlier, I'll just reiterate, he shows up for stuff. He'll come to the phone. I mean, you get staff at first, but if it's important, he'll come and talk to you. And when he talks to you, you got him. It's not like, hi, how are you? I'm wonderful, aren't you? It's like, really, what can we do for you? What's your problem? How can I help? And you don't get that from a lot of people who have achieved the stature that he has in society. So I'm glad that he got the opportunity, and that's all I want to say about it.
All right, very good. Moving along.
Because the next person, they're going to be in the hot seat now.
Yeah.
I'll try to make friends with them and see if I can be of service to them.
All right. Well, we always enjoyed having Dave here on the Coffee and program.
Sure.
It was always
And
good times.
he sponsors everything. We were just talking about our Senior Resources Fair, which is coming up in April. And we're starting to make our plans for that. We have the hall rented and everything. It's going to be at the Elks. It's going to be on April 15th. You're getting this first now on the radio because it's all been confirmed with the Elks, who we rent the hall from. It's going to be 9 in the morning till noontime because our crowd came so early last time, and they were disappointed they couldn't get in because we were starting at 11. Well, we learned that lesson pretty doggone fast. So it's going to be 9 to noon this next time. And it was very successful, and we're looking but Congressman Cicilline, he sent a representative. He says, well, I got to be in Washington. I can't be there in person, but I'm going to send one of my top people to be there, and she was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's wonderful too.
All right. In other things going on in the news, Cumberland makes the news again,
Not again.
but not for the good reasons. This is a big deal. I think it's nationwide. This is like one of the biggest ones they've ever done. A drug
Yeah.
bust. Cumberland man is going to spend 10 years in prison for his role in drug trafficking. 27-year-old Dylan Rodas involved in packaging, storage of drugs, and he also revealed where he kept other substances and weapons.
Well, that's
Here's
good.
my stash, or here's where I keep my stash.
That's probably why he only got 10 years.
That he gave all that up.
He could, yeah,
He could have gotten
he
probably
could have gotten more,
more.
obviously.
Yeah.
And he'd be a candidate for parole because of his working with authorities, after he was apprehended.
Authorities picked up 600,000 meth-laced pills
Oh my goodness.
that were made to look like ADHD medication.
Oh goodness.
So yeah, and now once he gets out, he will be on supervised release for 5 years. So
parole,
this
yeah.
must have been quite the negotiations between his lawyer and the feds.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Because
whatever.
it
I
seems
know,
like he
but-
should have more.
But he did his thing. It's a very risky thing when you're in that life, and now you're going to give up some of it. You're going to tick off somebody who probably has no filter on right and wrong.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking names and here's the entire arsenal of what we have, and other people are involved. So
Well, they
there
have
had
to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in that position, you may as well give it all up because
You've lost it all anyway.
you're already losing it all.
Yeah, so makes you wonder, what do these guys do when they get out? I mean, he's only 27. He's going to get out when he's 37. Can't retire. Yeah, I don't know.
Right,
But
right.
that's his burden, right?
That's right.
He'll have
Go
to
back
try
to
figure
school.
it.
Do something.
All
Right.
right. And then Cumberland makes the news once again because they did identify the woman that was killed in that head-on crash, and it's 67-year-old Marie Malacone of Woonsocket.
Yeah.
And she succumbed to her injuries after she was the passenger in the vehicle where the driver had a medical emergency.
Right.
And they crashed head-on into another car, and she's the one that got the worst of this.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Yep. All the four people in the second vehicle, they all suffered minor injuries. The driver suffered minor injuries too. But it was Marie, here of Woonsocket, that got the worst of that one. So that's too bad there.
It is.
So now, speaking of the feds, they were in Providence yesterday. Did you see that the feds were in Providence?
The FBI.
Yes.
At the
place
place where they recycle catalytic converters.
Accurate Converter, which is off of Branch Avenue, or on Branch Avenue in Providence, if you know where Branch Ave is. The FBI declined to comment what they're looking for, just that they said
Probably catalytic converters.
there's no stolen catalytic converters is what they're looking for.
Right,
But
right.
there's no threat to public safety. So this company,
Go about your way. Nothing to look at here.
they did get a court authorized search, so there's something there that they think is there. And so this company specializes in catalytic converter recycling.
Sure.
I didn't know that was such
It's
a
big
business.
It's big business. Yeah.
Well, who brings them the catalytic converters?
That's a good
Dealerships?
question.
What'd you say, Jim?
Yards.
Or
Hit that wire. Junkyards, or I mean,
or maybe maybe folks are turning them in and they're not asking questions about where
Where'd
do
you get
these
this?
come from. I have an acquaintance who was at a meeting in a public parking lot, and they happen to have a TV. They happen to have cameras there, and these folks rolled up, jacked up his car, took his catalytic converter in under 2 minutes.
while he was there having the
While he was
meeting?
there in the meeting, he came out and it was gone.
Gone.
They went back and looked at the tape under 2
Wow.
minutes.
They know what they're
So,
doing.
Absolutely, they do. They look for specific cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's money in it, right?
It's like $1,000. Like $1,000 to buy one, right?
Yeah.
A catalytic converter?
Yeah.
Is that what they go for?
Well installed anyway.
Yeah.
So there's
It's a labor too, right? So yeah.
All right. Well,
So there are people out there who will.
and there are
do
people that
this.
are looking to buy,
And,
and
you know,
And then you have those enterprising pros out there.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
They just know
entrepreneurs.
right where it is, and these battery-operated sawzalls.
yes,
Yep.
That's what they use.
Yeah.
because I always thought, not knowing much or anything really about cars, I always thought a catalytic converter was like a big muffler kind of thing, and it's
Well, it's
not.
smaller than that.
It's
No.
about a foot long and
Yeah.
kind of thin, so it's easy. Underneath, cut, take it away.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And I saw the footage. I
Yeah.
could not believe it.
How quick it's done.
You couldn't believe it.
But they have to get in and jack up the car to get underneath it?
Yeah. they
Well,
just-
sometimes it
little-
depends on the
Depends on the car? Just a
on the
little
stance
bit,
of the
right.
car.
Okay.
Depends on the stance of the car.
All right.
And then when they pull
'Cause-
that jack out, they're not
and
being
it de-
careful
and
with
it
your
depends
car
on-
either.
It depends on the
Right,
stance of the guy with the Sawzall too. I mean,
Yeah,
if he's
yeah.
big,
You
know,
lift up the car a little more.
right? I mean, I can squeeze under the truck, but I don't squeeze under the Kia.
All right. We're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program, so it's time for a second message. Dave from the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, our sponsor of this portion of Coffee and.
Thank you, Joe. Well, I told you all that other stuff so I could tell you this again. Remember, 334-1000 is the telephone number for the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, our sponsor for Coffee and Conversation every Friday morning. First segment, the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, where business matters.
And comments and questions can be called into the Coffee and panel, 766-1240.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
The Broaster House is noted for its delicious chicken and seafood. Chicken includes broasted family packs and chicken family style, but they also serve other favorites like ribeye steak, meatloaf, and hot turkey sandwich. Try their great tasting steak sandwich, always ribeye, clam rolls, and turkey clubs. The Broaster House is at 263 Pond Street, Woonsocket. They welcome small parties and collations. Gift certificates are available year-round in any denomination. For takeout, call the Broaster House at 401-762-1717. The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
We're local and live at 99.5.
We certainly are. It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Murray and Dave Richards, and just looking at the things around the state, and
Yeah.
things are not going
Is it
well.
next week we have
Melissa.
Dennis coming, by the way?
Hang on. Talk amongst
Check
yourselves.
the coffee. I'm just I was going to make
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I was gonna make note of that. We haven't seen Dennis Frayne from Bellingham for a while.
Yeah.
And we've just concluded top-level negotiations. Well, it took a couple of years to figure out whether it would be a round table or a square table or an oblong table. But eventually we got down to the point where we got him booked. So 2 weeks from today, Dennis Frayne from Bellingham will be here. He's always a great guest.
March 10th is the date for that.
Mm-hmm.
So we look forward to having Dennis back with us and telling us everything going on and how much money they make in Bellingham.
What?
I just remember the last couple of times he's on and how mostly it was out of marijuana, not dispensaries, but growing it and selling it someplace else,
Yeah,
and
right.
how much money came to the town of Bellingham for them to do nothing. It
But
was
allow it, yeah.
astounding.
Well,
how
of
much
course, you
money.
do have public safety concerns.
Yeah, but and it's up on the other side. It's
If
over
there's
near
ever a fire in the
Franklin.
place, you really, really want to
yeah.
put it out fast.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right,
Otherwise, the
that-
folks over in Franklin are all
Yeah.
going to be high.
All right, we'll talk with Dennis about that in 2 weeks when he is here. Now, boy, the people in Pawtucket really don't like, a lot of them don't like this police officer, and this story just keeps going on. The one that shot at the kids in
Dolan.
West Dolan, the one that shot at the kids in West Greenwich, was exonerated and got all his back pay. He got like a check for like $80,000. That all came back to him, and now Grabien doesn't want him there, and now there's a delegation of people that they don't
Yeah,
want him in there
I
as
saw
a
that
cop.
too.
But
I don't know where the police chief
legislators
sits on
from the
this.
area
The senators all,
They don't want to
legislators.
all agree with the mayor that when they take a look at previous infractions of
Yeah,
police
they're looking at other
department
things
policy,
besides this shooting.
the term that I keep hearing people whisper is cowboy.
Really?
Yeah,
right.
and I don't know if it's accurate, but that's the term I keep hearing people whisper down there. Is that he's a cowboy? We don't need him.
He's a rogue.
Well, they haven't said
Not-
rogue.
not
They
rogue,
just said he's
okay.
in other words, he's really enjoys the job.
Well, they say previous incidents of misconduct. Not that he's not been charged with anything, but just other things have come up, I guess. in
You got
his
other stuff in his
career.
employment file, his personnel file, huh?
What you don't hear, though, unless maybe you guys have, anything from the police chief of Pawtucket.
Well, he's in a bad position, isn't he, to be
speak
making
about it?
public
Yeah.
comments
Yeah.
about it because he's the leader, and of course he'll take orders from the civil authority, and it's the civil authority that's making all the noise. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have to have an opinion. He's
Yeah.
about to be given his opinion.
That's true.
This is what you believe?
This is what happens with police chiefs.
Yeah.
He's about to be told what he supports. So
All right. Well, more will come of this.
Hmm.
I guess he wants to stay as a police officer.
well, stop and think of it. Under the circumstances, what do you suppose your prospects are for a speedy rehire in another department?
Well, not in Rhode
without
Island.
leaving Rhode Island, right?
Not in this state.
You gotta
Right.
leave town.
Now, maybe Montana or Texas or someplace like that, where things are a little bit more loose.
Well, what about going over the line to Massachusetts, the nearby towns? And I'm like the Attleboro, North
Massachusetts has no sense of
Seacon.
humor. Massachusetts has
humor?
no sense of humor. You're kidding me? They have no sense of humor.
In general, as a state.
Right? Yeah. Right.
I don't know. Have you ever dealt with the North Attleboro police?
No.
You don't want to get pulled over. That was always the rule, not the rule, the thinking.
Yeah.
Even when I
Oh,
was back
yeah,
in high school,
that's right.
You didn't get stopped in North Attleboro. Get
Right.
stopped somewhere else because
Don't-
they were bad.
Yeah.
Or not,
They were
not
tough. They were
bad.
tough.
They were tough.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
he might fit in there, and that reputation held up. 30 years later, I was talking to someone from North Attleboro, and they said, "Oh, it's still that way in town." So maybe that reputation.
Well, you heard it here
continues
first,
on.
folks.
Just
We don't know if it's the truth, but
watch your P's and Q's.
this
when
is
you're in
all
North
just
Attleboro.
conversation, folks.
All right. So there was a death of a man. Not that's really affects this area down in Little Compton back in the fall. It
Oh,
has
yeah, that's
finally been
right.
ruled a homicide.
It took them a long time,
Long time on this
to get someone to certify that it was not a natural death
Yeah.
because he asphyxiated.
He died from mechanical asphyxia.
Well, that's
whatever that is.
he asphyxiated. That much they knew right
Yeah.
away. But what caused him to not breathe?
Well, what's mechanical?
Strangulation.
Really?
Yeah.
Mechanical wouldn't that be like someone literally stopping you from breathing, right?
Right.
I would assume.
Okay. It sounds like a machine fell on him and he couldn't breathe. or
Well,
something
no,
like that.
I'm sure it does to you, but
Yeah.
mechanical would be.
There's a mechanism that caused him.
You could say manual strangulation, which
Yes,
would
that would
imply
make
use
sense.
of the hands.
Yes.
But mechanical asphyxia means that some outside mechanical force, and mechanical, you can do a mechanical force with your hand just by banging the table. Some outside mechanical force caused you to not be able to breathe long enough for you to succumb.
Okay. Now, the other question is, Channel 12 is reporting that the autopsy on the man, his name is Stephen Veloso, the autopsy was performed by the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Massachusetts. Why did it go to Massachusetts if he's from Little Compton? Now, I understand geography. They're
Yeah.
very close to Mass over
right.
there.
Maybe it depends on where he was found. If it was close
That's
to.
the guy lived in Little Compton, but he was found in Little Compton, or was he found over the
Yeah.
border? Or did he come from over the border, or
Well,
did they know?
Little Compton Police and the Attorney General's office are conducting the investigation, so it makes it sound like he was found in Little Compton and lived there. So why would the Unless are they backed up at the medical examiner's office? In
Get Channel 12.
Providence?
Get Michael Montecalvo on the air over. Get him on the speed
Why
dial
did this?
here.
Why did they do it?
Mike, inquiring minds want to know. What can you tell us about this?
Just makes you wonder. Okay, unless it was just easier. Is there a medical examiner's office in southeastern Mass, like in Fall River, that's close by?
Possibly.
Yeah, Mike.
And say, well, we're stacked up over here, and they got an opening. So
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay.
and we just, I don't know.
That's
just
plausible,
things,
Joe.
Things I'm just kicking around.
Type it
for
up. I'll
that.
sign it.
All right, and we brought this up earlier, Melissa, because it was amusing and all. But now it's happened again, and we're talking about illegal sports betting in Massachusetts, and all 3 casinos said, "Yep, we all did it, and we all turned ourselves in." And now it's happened again. Someone now I got to find which exact casino it was. Dave, do you
It was
remember?
Everett.
Okay, at Encore Boston Harbor, and now they're saying they say it's a glitch in the casino's technology. That sounds so wrong. To me, it does anyway.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
until
they
you run
didn't-
these big computers, which go out and find out all the sports, and then you put in filters, and then one sneaks by the filter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds far-fetched until you try to write a program that
Well, yeah.
will catch just those.
But
But
also,
it's a little.
Because there's the problem now. When
well,
you're
let
doing
Melissa
this,
talk, Dave.
Well, I was going to say there's quite a bit of time that's passed now, right? So it happened right away, and they were like, "Oh, we messed up. We found it."
Yeah.
But now some time has passed, and it's been going on. It's
Well,
just-
it happened again.
it happened again. It was just a separate.
The latest
incident.
violation occurred recently. Bets were accepted at a Boston College basketball game. Doesn't say exactly.
Okay, so it
when,
was for
but
one
just-
specific game that
Yes.
kind of got through,
Yes.
fell through the cracks, so to speak.
Okay, Dave. Now you can continue your thought now, please. I want
a
Melissa
thought
to continue.
unexpressed dies, Joe.
We're resurrected.
No, I'm just trying to get people. I mean, I heard you say this is a very careless comment, in my opinion. That, well, geez, they're pretty stupid. No,
Not
because
stupid.
in order to do things on the scale that they're doing them, they use computers.
Right.
Computers go out and get all the sports information on all the sports tickers.
Right.
And they feed it in. And then because it's very laborious to sift through it all and then manually put it into the computers, computers go out like a Google search and find all sports. And then later on, you've got to write a program. If it's not a tournament and it's a college or a university or something like that, you can't let a bet come through on that. Because I'm sure what happens is somebody walks up to a window and says, I'm putting $20 on Boston College. And they just got to look it up. And if it survived the removal process, it's going to be there. And you take the bet and you go.
But why can't they tell the computer if the bet is from Massachusetts or a Massachusetts team or school, flag it, is this acceptable?
Obviously, they've tried to do that. But
I don't know if that's obvious.
have you ever searched on Google, Joe?
Yes.
I put a search in and I said, I want to find out where to buy Frigidaire model 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and a refrigerator within 25 miles of me. You put that in Google search, and they
Okay.
come up with Westinghouse refrigerators, Amana refrigerators.
All the
they don't
refrigerators.
care. They don't care what you asked for.
Yeah.
Right? Algorithms rule, and algorithms make mistakes.
Okay, but the other thing when it comes to sports betting is you actually talk to a person. You don't talk
At
to
the
a machine.
window.
That's right, and they should know you do not accept bets on in-state schools.
Second line of defense. The computer should not allow you to make the bet.
Right.
But the person at the window would be second line of defense.
That should be the first line. Would be the person.
That's not the way they're
should-
going to look at it.
Well, but they should know.
Because if you refuse the opportunity for the human being to take the bet because your computer doesn't allow the bet, that's the first line of defense.
Yeah.
Second line of defense is that if the computer screws up, a human should catch it.
Right. Unless
Just like we played two-story number 8s during
Yeah.
7 o'clock news. A human caught it. The machine messed up.
someone at the casino is telling the people, just take it. Don't worry about it.
That's a big risk.
It is a big risk.
Yeah, because
but
then those
I mean,
bozos
then-
in the suits have to go to the commission and say, "Oops, we messed up again."
yeah,
Right.
sorry.
They're going to get
I
caught.
can't
They're
imagine
going to
someone
get
saying, "Oh,
caught.
it's not that important," because they go self-report themselves. It's important.
Well, it looks like it's like a middle management person, one that doesn't report to the gaming commission. But
Who could easily lose their job
well, yeah,
because the suits don't want any problems with the commission.
they shouldn't. that'll be a big headache. So, all right. Well, we'll see if anything else happens with Plain Ridge or MGM, and see if they still continue to take. And I know the rules are tough. You gotta remember, because you can't take in-state sports bets on the college teams unless they're in the tournament. Well, why is that okay, and not regular games okay?
Right.
Bec-
And
but-
say if it were me at the counter,
Yeah.
would I
know
necessarily
that?
know that? Right? And if the computer said, "Oh yeah, this is okay,"
that's fine.
then I
You're
mean,
gonna take
you
it.
know, you don't have to know about sports to
If they
take a
make
bet.
it in the
Yeah.
tournament, then the
Right.
memo goes out and it's at all the windows. But it's very simple, Joe.
What?
Who's in control of the game? You see,
The
the
NCAA.
schools are in control of the game before the tournament.
Yeah.
Tournament, NCAA, a national organization is running the game. After that, so the state rules would be if it's in-state play, even though it's a visitors from out of state, but if it's in-state play, we're in charge. If it's national, excuse me. Excuse me, just had a sneeze. If it's national, then we'll take the bet on it because this is a national thing because people from everywhere across the country would be betting on it. Here, we don't want the locals betting because there could be corruption.
Well, right.
It's not our game when they go to tournament, though.
Okay. Plausible. All right. I like it.
That's what I'm saying. Type it up, I'll sign it.
Okay, and it's time for a break once again. Time for the weather forecast being brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
Sunny skies, but very windy today,
Doesn't mean
with
it's
the
right.
temperature falling to around 25 degrees by 5 p.m. The winds will be out of the northwest up to 40 miles per hour, 45 in gusts. Tonight, mostly clear skies, overnight low of 9 degrees above zero, wind chill values at -3. Saturday's weather, increasingly cloudy, high of 23 for the day, wind chill values at -3. Saturday night, a 20% chance of some snow, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 15. Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, high of 38. Little or no snow accumulation is expected, but there is a 30% chance of snow on Sunday. Monday, another 30% chance of some snow in the afternoon, mostly sunny skies before that with a high of 37. Tuesday, snow, possibly mixed with rain, high of 37, 90% chance of precipitation on Tuesday. Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high of 39. And on Thursday, a 40% chance of rain and snow, mostly cloudy, high of 40.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, cloudy skies and 36 degrees. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Enjoy the Chan's experience. Ooh, it's so good at Chan's, celebrating 117 years, 1905 to 2023. Count 'em, 117 years. Upcoming entertainment this weekend, Friday night, 8 p.m., Robert Black's Sweet Hitchhiker. And that's the sounds of Creedence Clearwater Revival. $15 in advance, $20 at the door. Saturday night, the Peach Eaters. Enjoy the Allman Brothers experience. 20 in advance, 25 at the door. Peach Eaters at 8 o'clock Saturday night. And, of course, your best dine-in, takeout, Scorpion Bowls, the Poop Poop Platter, the Scorpion Bowls. It's Chan's, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket. Egg rolls. Oh, my goodness. Just so much great stuff. Takeout, drive-through, 765-1900, and delivery from Chan's. Cousins Collision Center services all makes of cars, SUVs, and light trucks, featuring their state-of-the-art color matching and frame straightening. They also feature scratch and dent removal, glass replacement, and graphics removal. Cousins Collision will give you unbeatable prices and accurate estimates. Cousins Collision Center on Foundry Street in Woonsocket, off Olo Street, 766-7679.
Here's what's coming up next. Greatest Hits USA.
Hey, this is Chuck Matthews on Greatest Hits USA. And coming up this weekend, we're going to answer the following questions. Who received a check with the wrong last name on it? What singer bought a Cub Scout uniform? And who had the #1 record this week in 1967? Find out. Turn it up this weekend right here.
Greatest Hits USA.
This portion of the Coffee and program is sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper.
Since its founding in 1996, the Valley Breeze has been the trusted source for local news in the Blackstone Valley. Our readers and advertisers understand that shining a light on all aspects of our communities and doing it with some of the best local journalism anywhere makes these cities and towns better places to live in. We believe that truth has value and should triumph over rumors and misinformation. See valleybreeze.com or any of our 5 editions for more on how you can be part of this local news success story.
Coffee and here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us on this Friday morning. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Murray and Dave Richards. As we mentioned earlier, Rich Lane from American Legion Post 85 cannot join us this week. He has another project to attend to. Rich will be joining us again next week here on the Coffee and program. So, other things that are going on, just taking a look at things that are happening in around Massachusetts, actually. A driver allegedly going 100 miles an hour was drunk and was caught in a deadly crash. The crash on Route 3 in Hingham, Massachusetts, that killed a police officer
Oh my goodness.
from Randolph who was off duty at the time. But I've been on.
Was that the one that killed the police officer and the police dog?
It doesn't have anything about the
Okay.
dog, but possibly, yeah. He was a 35-year veteran of the Randolph Police Department, and if you've ever traveled that portion of Route 3, and I've seen some crazy things happen.
100
on that
miles
portion.
an hour.
And that part, I haven't seen 100 miles an hour. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's pretty
within
wild.
within itself. And normally your drunk drivers don't go that fast.
Right.
They usually just don't have control.
Right.
But,
Swerving or whatever.
Yeah,
but
that's
oh
what
my
usually
goodness.
happens. But going 100.
Yeah, that's like pedal to the floor.
You ever been in a car going 100?
Yes.
Okay.
I cannot lie.
It's scary going that fast.
Out in Nevada on a straightaway.
Yeah, most straightaways out
Yep.
that way.
Yep.
And
I was not driving, which makes it even
and the
scarier.
other person says, "Watch this," and
It was a Mini, also.
Was it?
Yeah.
How did the car handle it? Sometimes when those cars get around 90, they start shaking.
A little bit. This wasn't too bad.
No?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was-
All right,
Many
so,
moons ago.
So that happened there. They're canceling flights again at Logan because of. Could you call yesterday? What we had was a storm.
Yeah, oh, it is a storm.
Yeah. All right.
No question. Again, Woonsocket got the better end of it, but
Yeah.
some people got some nasty weather. And again, keep in mind, I keep hopping on this, freezing rain.
Well, they had more of that because they were north of us, right?
Right,
Yeah,
and
okay.
so you gotta spray down the planes again, and
Yeah.
the rest. It takes time.
It does. And I've actually been on a plane where they said, okay, we're going to pull back from the gate, and we got to go over there, and then we got to be de-iced,
Yeah,
and then we'll be
Yep.
on our way.
because they can't de-ice when they're at the gate,
Right.
Because it'll get all over the baggage and
Yes.
the people and stuff. They take it out to away from the building and then de-ice it.
But it got to the point where we pulled out and then stopped. I'm like, why are we sitting here?
Mm-hmm.
Until you see the big truck come over and
That's
spray
right.
you down. Oh, that's right. We're being de-iced. I forgot about that part already.
This was a little terrifying when your plane's being de-iced. I don't fly well, as you know. So, although I'm
Well, you
better
have to
now.
flap your arms harder. Even bumblebees can do it, you know.
Yeah, that's right. So, all right. Let's see. So this is it's a Massachusetts story that involves a man from Cranston that he's accused of laundering $35 million from internet fraud schemes. Arrested on federal charges. Craig Clayton, he's from Cranston. He's being charged with conspiracy to commit money laundering and obstruction of justice. This is no kid. He's 73.
Wow.
Accused of forming dozens of shell companies that were used to launder money obtained by fraud. He would collect a fee from internet fraudsters in exchange for laundering money from their scams. I have no idea how this is done. It's not something I've ever wanted to
Joe.
learn.
Good.
I still don't want to learn how this is done.
$35 million
Yeah, that's a lot of fraud.
that he laundered, not that he.
He's accused of laundering
Right,
that.
right,
Not that he
right.
accepted it. He just
Well, I'm sure
Cleaned
his
it up for
chunk
other
was
people.
probably pretty nice.
I probably got a nice,
Yeah.
a nice little money bag for this one.
Yeah.
And when they say he's accused of forming dozens of shell companies, how do you do that? How do you?
Somehow
how
you
is
take
that
the
done?
money and put it through the company and make it look like it's legit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, hope it was worth it.
Well,
Don't
if it-
think he'll be going anywhere anytime soon.
he might be joining that other guy from Cumberland. And
Yeah, yeah.
And going down to a federal prison over there. All right. From the, this was funny, Melissa. We brought this up a little earlier. Twitter went online. Twitter had a poll, and they asked what people were giving up for Lent. And the majority of people went on Twitter to say they were giving up Twitter.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah.
That's too easy.
The website openbible.info reviewed nearly 9,000 tweets this week, and 439 said we're giving this up. But first, we got to tell you on Twitter that we're giving up Twitter. I just think it's funny.
Well, what was number 2?
Oh, alcohol.
Oh, I was going to say
We're
sugar.
We're going to stop drinking for that.
And how many said they were going to stop drinking and tweeting? But I guess that
No,
solves
it's
that
one,
problem.
It's one or the other. We can't give up. We're not giving up both.
It's not, yeah. And
Drunken
definitely
tweeting.
don't do both.
Drunken
definitely.
tweeting is frowned on by the church.
Oh no, by
Drunken
the church?
tweeting, yes.
No, those are your funnier tweets. when people come to the next morning, they say, "What did I tweet out last
No,
night?"
it's all tragic, Joe. It's all
Kofifi.
tragic.
Nobody remembers Kofifi.
Food, just food in general. They didn't specify sugar
Yeah.
or candy or whatever. Just food ranked in the top category. They got 1,300 tweets, and then giving up smoking, drugs, and alcohol ranked third. So, but
Nobody said rock and roll, huh?
no.
Okay.
We're keeping that because that's not. It's not the devil's music anymore, like they used to say
Oh,
it was. So that works out okay. Now down in Washington D.C., the police down there are working with the FBI because they have found 24 ATMs in a creek. People are stealing ATMs, I'm assuming, trying to get the money out.
Well, they didn't get there themselves.
That's right.
Well, that's how
And
they're
then
laundering the money down
that's-
at the creek. Yeah.
And they're throwing it in the creek. They don't say which creek. Neighbors have been complaining on social media for some time. That's the best place to complain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
That really
Gets
gets
everything
you going.
done.
Yep.
It does get everything done. About the devices are just being dumped. 8 have been already removed by crews, and another 10 or so are being hauled away today. Now, it doesn't say
Who's
whether or
getting
not-
fined for polluting the water?
Well, we don't know. You have to find out who's throwing it in the creek.
Or
and
do
then
they
we
do
find
that
out.
where that is?
Yeah.
I know in Rhode Island,
they
if you
do.
threw something in the water,
Right.
That's one more thing on top.
You'd
of
have
that.
you'd have the DEM
DEM
police
would be
out there
after
with-
you. Yeah.
put you in handcuffs. I'll tell you.
Local police in Washington are working with the FBI. They're trying to figure out where the ATMs came from. Shouldn't that be pretty easy to figure out? Shouldn't there be model numbers or something on that says, or property of Wells Fargo or something like that?
Well,
You'd
yeah,
think.
wouldn't it? You
I
would
would
think
think
that
that.
it would say, but they have those generic ones too, that anybody can
Okay,
use.
yeah, and you pay a fee.
And you pay like
To use it, like $5 or
insane
$10.
fee. Yeah, right. An insane fee, like $5, whatever.
I love it. Do you agree to this fee? If you hit no, it just gives you a card back. Thanks, bye. Well, I needed.
Well, if you
I
have
needed the
Navigant,
money.
you don't have to pay any fees
Well,
for
that's,
outside ATMs.
that's right. That's right.
You get it back.
I didn't think about that. Maybe it is those generic
Yeah.
fees that you see in stores or.
Because there's like a kind of
something like
little
that.
machines, and they're just kind
They're
of
not as heavy.
like they're kind of just set up by themselves. And
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
would think the
but
owners
they're
of
usually
the
inside bars and
yeah,
things. Would
but wouldn't you think the bar or the convenience store would report one of our ATMs is missing
you would think so, but you do see them outside sometimes.
outside stores?
Yeah, like outside at venues. Yeah.
Outside restaurants.
Yep.
But wouldn't the restaurant be getting a cut of the deal for just having it on their establishment?
Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
So I think, anyway, 24 seems like a lot.
That is a lot.
20 and throwing all in the same creek seems kind of silly. Wouldn't you mix it up? I mean, the Potomac is right there. That's not a creek. Wouldn't you want it to sink and get out of people's way?
Maybe it's a clandestine spot, and
All right. Yeah, it doesn't tell you
You
exactly.
would think if the neighbors have been complaining that maybe they would have seen
Well,
somebody or something.
Well, the only thing I can think of is they can see it sticking out of the water.
Yeah.
There's another one here. I better go on Twitter and let people know my disgust. All right.
Except during Lent.
That's right. I can't do that now. I have to go to Facebook and complain. All right. We're going to take another break here on the Coffee Am program. This segment of Coffee Am has been sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper, of which Dave has one in his hands from this week.
Do, Joe. And I have in my hand the Cumberland... Camera number 1, please. Follow me up. I have in my hand the Cumberland and Lincoln edition of the Valley Breeze. There's a story from Lincoln there by Sophia Barr about the resiliency report highlights, topping issues to be addressed in Lincoln. Also, front and center, we have Zuri Seal and Isla, it says Isla, I thought it might have been Ilsa, Mackenzie, both fifth graders at community school in Cumberland, standing in front of their science project. It's science project time, isn't it, huh? And
What's
they're
that project?
there with little chef hats on. You can see it in the Valley Breeze. Future scientists, as they baked up a bunch of different things that you might bake in your house and left out certain ingredients to report on what happened when you left out certain things like eggs or butter or baking soda in the recipe. Very interesting.
Okay.
Here's there's a little unpleasantness over in Cumberland. Pleiacus put on Pleikus.
Yeah,
Say it.
the A is silent.
Pleikus is put on leave, and Cumberland EMS is under internal review. Mayor Mutter has a statement on that. And then another story here in the Cumberland Lincoln edition I think is very interesting for everybody, really, because I know that it's a widespread type of problem. Officials consider adding a position to the school department, and their entire job will be to collect unpaid lunch bills.
Well, that's a tough job.
I don't know. In my day, if you didn't have the token, you didn't eat. And
That does not happen today.
I know. I understand. In my hand now is the Blackstone, North Smithfield, and Woonsocket edition, and we have some happy news and some serious news. The council in North Smithfield is discussing a potential $20 million bond to build the police station, so that's moving forward that way. If you were listening to the Woonsocket City Council meeting here on the radio this past Monday, you would have heard they're discussing what they're going to do with Synagro, because the word at the council meeting, and I didn't know this until I heard it on the air, is that Synagro is having some financial difficulties.
Oh.
They are our partner there at the sewer treatment area and the furnace and all the rest of that, so they're trying to make plans of what would happen if Synagro wasn't there. And there were other important things that were talked about. But the real happy news that makes you feel great is that Savannah Gustafson won the district-wide spelling bee in North Smithfield last Friday. And she's a nice color picture there of Savannah there with her mom, Shauna, and her dad, Kevin. And she's, of course, going to go on to the whole Northern Rhode Island, or the entire Rhode Island spelling bee. And, of course, that is sponsored, as it has been for many years, by the Breeze newspapers. Nice. Valley Breeze, pick it up free where you shop.
With the cold weather, your home may suffer different types of losses. Frozen water pipes may burst. Water heaters may leak. Dishwasher or washing machines may flood. Ice dams that cause damage, or tree branches crashing through your roof. If you've endured a catastrophic insurance loss, then you need to contact Vern Rainville, Public Insurance Adjuster. Vern works for you, not the insurance company. Vern will work with the insurance company adjuster throughout the entire process. Vern can even get the insurance company adjuster to come back to your home if need be. Vern gets paid when you get paid, so there is no money out of pocket. Vern is licensed in Rhode Island and Massachusetts and works from Manville. Contact Vern 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 1-484-300-8495. 1-484-300-8495. If you have a loss, call Vern for a free consultation. 1-484-300-8495. So remember, if the water pipes have burst or the water heater is leaking, call Vern Rainville Public Insurance Adjuster at 1-484-300-8495. The service specials at Tasker Buick GMC is working out so well, they just continue on. Bring your vehicle to Tasker Buick GMC for an oil change and tire rotation, which includes a complimentary multi-point vehicle inspection, car wash and vacuum for $69.95. The alignment special is $89.95, and a full vehicle reconditioning specials inside and out starting at $199. And it doesn't matter whether you purchased your vehicle at Tasker Buick GMC or not. Tasker Buick GMC on Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. You will be satisfied.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
All right, Coffee and on ON Radio. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards and Melissa Murray. And
Or Melissa Murray and Dave Richards.
That's right.
Either
It just
or.
rolls off the tongue that way, like that.
Ladies
All
first in my book.
All right, Melissa, you've got some events that are coming up with the Ukrainian church.
That's right. Today is the 1 year commemoration of the beginning of the war. Russia's invading the Ukraine, and here we are one year later. Very, very tragic, but also very big show of the resiliency of the Ukrainian people and the determination. I think Putin went in there and thought he was going to take Kiev in a few days. Mm-hmm. And here we are a year later.
Well, it worked for Hitler the first 3 times.
Yeah, right. So we have 2 Ukrainian churches here in Woonsocket and a nice Ukrainian community here. There's both called St. Michael. There's St. Michael the Archangel, which is the Catholic Church, and then there is St. Michael's, the Orthodox Church, and they're both on the corner of the intersection of Blackstone Street and Harris Ave. Mm-hmm. And when I was little, before
Opposite corners, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I was little, I used to live in the house in between those 2 churches.
Really?
It's pink now. It wasn't pink then, but
know
they've
that
literally
house. It's
been.
big.
It's pink. It's like a pinkish color. Yeah. And then after that, we moved to the house across the street on the other corner of Harris Ave and Blackstone Street. So this community have literally been my neighbors my entire life. But I just wanted to let people know that if they wanted to go and show their solidarity or their support, there is a service at 6 p.m. at St. Michael's Archangel, which is the Catholic Church, and they're going to be praying the rosary with the Knights of Columbus for peace in the Ukraine. Everyone is welcome. There'll be coffee and pastries after, and then on Saturday at 4:00 there is a multi-faith prayer at the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, and that's at 4 p.m. And if you've not been in those churches, they're both very nice. But if you
Driving by yesterday, we saw the Ukrainian flag out on the front lawn.
Yes. Yep. And then on Tuesday, we're actually doing commemoration and solidarity at the State House in both chambers.
Mm-hmm. That's nice of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Rep. Brian and I as
See, they're not all bad, Joe.
yeah.
When did I say that?
I think that might have been you. But we just want to make sure that we continue to show our solidarity for our neighbors, and they've. I know some refugees. I think have come to the Catholic Church at least 8, I believe. So we just want to make sure that we support their fight for democracy.
All right. Well, Melissa, as you keep track of what's going on in the state of Rhode Island, also keep track of what other states are doing in their legislatures.
That is a major pastime for the legislature in Rhode Island, Joe.
What is going on in other states?
No, seriously. If you talk to legislators, I'm not just talking about the ones sitting in the room with us. I've known them for years, and they spend a lot of time seeing what other states are passing for laws to get ideas on what laws might be beneficial to Rhode Islanders.
That is true. There's many conferences on, any number of topics.
Okay.
The National Council of State Legislatures.
So fear
puts
not,
it on.
Joe. They'll be watching.
All right. Well, take a listen to what I got 2 stories. One's out of Kentucky, one's out of Tennessee. They're right next to each other.
Oh, boy.
They both deal with guns.
Okay.
Kentucky's gun regulations could be getting less strict. That's after the House in Kentucky passed a bill yesterday that would prohibit the Commonwealth of Kentucky from enforcing a federal ban or regulation on firearms. It's described by advocates as a, quote, Second Amendment protection bill, unquote, and would make Kentucky a so-called Second Amendment sanctuary state. A similar proposal made it through the House last year, didn't make it through the Senate in Kentucky, so
Well,
it goes
Texas
to the
has been
Senate.
doing this for years.
Have they?
Oh gosh,
Okay,
it.
well,
you
now
got
it's getting closer to Rhode Island.
you've
over
got
Kentucky.
concealed carry laws.
I don't see
in-
that
in
happening in
Texas.
Rhode Island, but
Okay,
But yeah, Texas has been pretty doggone.
up front with that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, and now Kentucky wants to do that. Now over in Tennessee, another bill,
Not a commonwealth, a state.
the state of Tennessee, a bill filed in Nashville. They want to let college students carry guns on college campuses. The bill was filed by a Republican and would amend Tennessee law, which
Don't
prevents
smile when he says that,
when it
Melissa.
prevents most people from carrying guns on school campuses by making an exception for public and private colleges. Students would have to get a permit, I guess, from the school after they've gone through training. Now, there's a Democrat senator down there by the name of Heidi Campbell. As you could guess, she's against the bill. All right. And she hypothetically asked, quote, how many kids have to die before we realize that guns do not make us safer?
so the school
Sounds
would
like a rhetorical
issue
question, Joe.
It is a rhetorical.
Okay.
The permit.
Say that again?
The school would issue the permit.
Yes. Yeah. You would have to go to the school. I want to
Interesting.
carry a gun on
Not
campus.
not the local police or
It doesn't say specifically. It just says students would have to get a permit after going through
I was-
training.
okay.
I didn't catch the beginning. I was more interested in
Okay.
the issue. Is this a private college?
For both public and private colleges.
I see. So, but it's the state making the law
Yes,
about
it's a
public
bill.
and private colleges.
Yes. Which seems odd for a private college.
Right.
Which seems odd for a state
Well, yes, it does. And I don't know why they think they need this.
because they probably thought it was low-hanging fruit. We can do this just on schools
Yeah.
and get it in
Right.
so I can say that I got something passed. But I know I can't get it passed for the whole state.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's like Campbell's nose under flap and like that.
Yeah, the law now prevents people from carrying guns on school campuses by making the exception for public and private colleges. So,
On school campuses, except for public and private colleges. So, I mean, here you're not
you
allowed to.
can't- No high schools.
Right. Right.
What about technical schools? They must have them. in
That's a
Tennessee.
technicality, Joe.
Yeah. You'd
I
have
think-
to read. You'd have to read the bill.
Well, yeah.
You'd have to read the bill.
So-
yeah.
Right.
There could be a lot of stuff.
Great turmoil.
Thrown in
Great
there.
turmoil, Joe. Great turmoil.
Well, that's what they're doing down in those two states, which are not too far away, but far enough away where you don't have to worry too much about
I
it.
just
right
had a
now.
lapse. What is the? There are 4 commonwealths among the 50 states. 3 I remember. I don't remember the 4th one. Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and is
Yeah.
it Virginia?
Yeah.
I think
it
so.
is.
You
Virginia.
think it's Virginia?
Commonwealth of Virginia. That
Yeah.
sounds right. Yep.
Okay, good. So, okay, I didn't forget.
All right.
I just wasn't sure.
Now, there's a woman in Colorado. She will not be getting any jail time, which I'm a little surprised at.
Oh, gee whiz.
Because she's been convicted of using a massage parlor as a front for a prostitution ring. And usually,
You don't go to jail for this?
usually
Where's
you do.
this that you don't go to jail for this?
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Oh, my
Colorado.
goodness.
Yep.
Good old Colorado.
Shirley King. She gets 4 years of supervised probation and 100 hours of public service. And that's it.
That's it.
Yes. Now,
Which means she can't charge? Is that what the public service is all about?
she was arrested in 2021.
Because I understand that's not illegal.
She was found guilty of running a place of prostitution. Now, she is not allowed to drink either. I'm assuming we're meaning alcohol. She cannot drink and she can't use drugs while she's on probation. And
Bummer.
Will not be allowed to work in any position that involves touching other people. I think that's funny too. Well, that's it. They're
Sounds
very-
like there's a
they're-
lot more to that story
I'm
than
sure-
meets the
I'm
ear.
sure- I'm sure there is, but there's a lot
Okay.
more.
All right, we're not going to put you in jail. You're going to put you on probation. All
So
right,
what's
but
her-
no drinking and no touching
drink.
other people.
Yeah. So you can't be a nurse or or a doctor or or a CNA, or and you can't go to the medical field at all.
No,
what's her-
don't shake anybody's hand.
What's her nickname? You jest?
You just king? I don't know. It doesn't say.
Shirley, you jest.
Oh, I
Do I
guess.
have to feed him to you too, Joe? I mean, it's
Well, stop
you're that
calling me
bank-
Shirley. All right. And from the Really Who Cares department, Columbus, Ohio.
Like that one wasn't?
Is hosting the North American Pokemon Championships.
Oh my!
Yes, they're very big.
It's a big deal.
I bet if
Let's
you're into
wheel
it,
up the
yes.
TV truck. My goodness, this is go on satellite.
Regional finalists are participating in the tournament from June 30th to July 2nd. Events involving the widely popular trading card game, video games, and the Pokemon Go augmented reality smart device app. Remember that was big a few years ago? People
Oh,
running
you're
around.
chasing. People were just randomly running
The
around.
Columbus tournament is one of 4 around the globe that will determine who moves on to the World Championship.
In an antiquated game.
Well, not for them. It's not antiquated. These
okay.
people take it very seriously.
I'm sure people would say that about chess too.
They could be, yeah. So there you go. You're up to date. So that'll do it for today. Thank you very much for listening in.
Shoot, and I missed a video conference for this. Huh?
Yes, you did.
Okay,
It's a lot more fun, I'm telling you. All right, Dave Richards, thanks for coming in.
great to be here with my good friends, and everybody be warm this weekend. It's going to be a wind chill below zero all weekend long. So be safe, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
Thanks for the good news there, Dave. Melissa Murray, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. Happy Friday, everybody.
All
Have
right.
a great weekend.
This is Joe Callahan. Stay tuned for Gary Smith. Do You Remember is coming your way at 9:30 on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. FBI agents conducted a court-authorized search of a Providence business on Branch Avenue yesterday. The search was focused on Accurate Converter, which specializes in catalytic converter recycling. The FBI spokesperson declined comment except to